Hi, this is Bob Weiss. I'm the host of Shaking Your World. Cheers.
Folks, welcome home. Yet another issue of Tell Me a Story. So here today we have a unique opportunity. We have somebody who has had numerous paranormal interactions with Jeffrey Dahmer, and he has this really cool story as well that you came to Milwaukee. How many years ago was that?
It was back in 2017.
2017,
yeah.
And you were here and intending to spend the night at the Ambassador,
Yep.
but maybe not the Ambassador Hotel, maybe the Ambassador that is on the south side of the street, or at least was at that point.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a motel kind of operation as opposed to the Art Deco hotel itself, right?
Yep.
Okay. So James, first and foremost, welcome to Shakers. We're happy to have you. Cheers.
Thank you.
I see you got not just, of course, this fine Italian mineral water, but you have the Jeffrey Dahmer gin and tonic in front of you as a prop as well. And speaking of props, we also have this bar stool between us. And this bar stool is a vestige of the Dahmer days, which we will talk about in a moment. But really, tell us a story about how this began with you.
Okay. So, like I said, this was back in 2017, and I had booked a concert at the Rave to see Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson, as a matter of fact, that very same concert that you were there to see was here that afternoon taking a ghost tour, and I gave him the ghost tour.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Crazy. So, a couple months before the concert, I had looked online. I wanted to stay as close to the venue as possible. So, I believe I booked the Ambassador Inn, and then I got a Greyhound ticket to town, and a couple days before the trip, I was in the basement packing, and I had this strange, call it a premonition, but it was a vision of a set of bones in a cold, dark basement, and there was a man with a hammer, and he was hammering these bones apart. And you know, this was like a 2-second vision, and it gave me the chills, you know. And so I remember telling all my friends, "Hey, I had this weird vision, and I think it's related to this trip I'm about to go on," and you know, but I had no idea.
What made you think that? I mean, have you had premonitions before?
Yes,
have you had wild dreams?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was there ever a man, you know, hammering on bones before those things?
Never seen it.
Okay.
Didn't recognize the energy around it.
Okay.
It seemed very
odd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got this premonition, and you see this guy that's hammering on bones of another person.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Could you tell anything else about either one of those characters?
Not really. I couldn't see a face.
Okay.
It was mostly just an arm and a hammer. When I originally had the vision, I felt like it was me. The bones were me.
It's got to be unnerving.
Yeah, a little bit. But, you know, I was no stranger to things like that in the past.
You
so
had
I
people
just
hammer on your bones with what?
Well, just like, you know, just like weird occurrences like that.
Okay.
You know, I was no stranger to. So.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of just like brushed it off, like no big deal. Like, you know, I was super curious about it.
Sure.
But so the day I leave, I'm on the Greyhound, and I was going through like my check-in itinerary, and they said no check-ins after midnight.
Okay.
And my bus had been delayed several hours, and
of course.
You know, so I started to panic. Like I'm not going to have a place to stay tonight.
Right.
And so I had to text my friend over here and tell him to call the hotel for me because I don't keep cell service. Yeah. So I gave him the number. Hey, call them. Let them know my bus is delayed, but I am coming.
Yeah.
And he texted me back and said the lady on the phone was awesome, and she said no problem. I'll stick around later and make sure we get him in. And so I was like, all right, cool. And so I get off the bus, and it's quite the walk for me from the terminal down. So.
Oh yeah, it's like
yeah.
on 7th Street in Wisconsin. You're going to 24th in Essex, right? 23rd,
Yes.
24th.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carrying stuff with you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I got all my luggage with
Yeah,
me, and
yeah.
you know, so that was fun. But
And so, what time of night is this now? Is it after midnight?
It is now like 12:30.
12:30.
12:30 at night, and so I finally get to the Ambassador Inn.
Yeah.
And it's all boarded up. The front door, I'm looking in it. It's dark. There's not a soul in sight. And I was like, well, maybe this is the back entrance. So I walked around the entire building, and I came back to the front, and I don't know how I missed it, but at eye level there was a sign that said, this is under construction or renovations, and all reservations here are now across the street.
Okay.
So I turn around, and there's the Ambassador Hotel, and I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. Like, I'm super excited. Like, no big deal. This place is closed. They got me across the street. So I walk over, and I meet the guy at the front desk, and I was like, well, what's that about? And he goes, it's been closed down for at least 6 months now. And I was like, well, how was I able to book that place online? And he was like, he really didn't have any idea.
Yeah.
So, and then, so I say to him, I was like, well, who is the lady on the phone that my friend talked to? And he says to me, he looked at me kind of funny, and he goes, well, I'm the only employee on right now. And he's like, I haven't taken any phone calls tonight. So I was like, okay, no big deal, like, not really thinking much of it. And he goes, well, we've upgraded you to the King Suite. And I was like, well, why? He's like, because I can. And so he's like, we got you up on the 5th floor. And I was like, oh, okay, you guys must be kind of busy tonight, and this is a Thursday night, and he says you're virtually our only guest tonight. And I was like, well, that's just kind of odd that they would put you all the way up. Typically they start at the
Right,
base floor and then work their way up unless you request it. So, but I didn't ask questions. He's like, you get a free upgrade, yada yada yada, and So I get up to the room, and as soon as I step foot inside, there's to the left, there's like a little mini bar, and then past that is the bathroom.
Okay.
And I just remember looking at the bathroom, and I was overwhelmed by this dark feeling. So I had to close the bathroom door. I wasn't ready to I wasn't ready for whatever.
I can pee later. It's fine.
Yeah. I was like, I'm in town for a couple of days. We'll figure that out later.
Wow.
But so now it's like, it's pushing like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I've been on the bus all day, and I'm starving. So I get on my phone to maybe see if I can have some food delivered, and every time I would go to confirm and pay, my phone would glitch out, and I just wasn't able to ever find food delivered. So then I resorted to, I'll just go get some gas station food. So I Googled the nearest gas station, which took me down a couple blocks and then over a few blocks.
What a lovely neighborhood too.
Yeah. And so I start this little trek, it's like a 10-minute walk maybe. And I get to this spot. There's not a gas station in sight. There was a little bus stop, but no gas station in sight. And I remember looking at this bus stop, and I started to hear what would be like a Polaroid camera going off.
Really?
Yes. And I got this flash, like someone had just taken a picture or something. So I was like, at 3 in the morning, I think I'm just going to call it a night, go back to my room, and we'll get up early and find some food then. So this would now be Friday. And I had this huge trip planned. You know, I'm not far from downtown Milwaukee. Like, I wanted to go to the art museums and check out some of the local breweries. And I didn't leave my room that day. Not a whole lot. I would go down to like the lobby and stuff. But,
So did that dark feeling about that bathroom continue on for you?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, it did. So, where was I? Oh yeah, okay. So, I'm in this hotel room, and I start developing these mannerisms that are not mine. Like, I started to pace around a lot.
Okay.
I started to turn on and off the lights.
Anxious? Okay.
Yeah. But just not typical, like, me.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I was flipping on the lights on and off and opening the curtains and closing them and just, you know, kind of being neurotic about it. But I remember I started obsessing over the number 17. And I don't know what it was, like, where that number came from. But I remember looking in the mirror and looking at myself and saying, I should make myself look a lot younger. So I then shaved. I shaved off all my hair, shaved my chest. I wanted to look like I was 17. So I did all that. And afterwards, I was looking at myself in the mirror again. And so I'm facing the mirror, windows are behind me. All of a sudden, the windows fly open on their own. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, you know. So I was like, I bet I should probably go talk to the hotel staff and find out.
It's like August or something, isn't it?
What's that?
August, September, when Manson was here?
It's February.
February,
yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, I better go talk to the hotel staff and find out, like, you know, some of the staff looked very nervous when I approached them about it, but others were like, oh yeah, are you on the 5th floor? And I said, yes, I am. And they were like, we get lots of reports of the windows opening on their own and a lot of reports of lights going on and off. And I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up back upstairs for a while, and I thought about venturing out into the city, and just it never really happened. But
so you were drawn to this room, as much as you were anxious about being there. You were drawn to being in this room at the same time.
Yeah,
okay.
Totally. And so a few hours later, it's dark out now. I can't exactly remember what time it is, but I decided to go down to the restaurant and maybe get some food and a drink. And I run into this bridal party, and so they invited me on their shuttle.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, to come down in this exact area. And I was like, cool, I'll ride along. But I remember walking into the bars, and, you know, I was looking around at people, and specifically the older gentlemen in the bars. I just remember having this feeling of like they had lived through something, or like something very like strange. So I did ask a few people, and they told me I should probably just leave it alone. And so I was like, I decided to go back to the hotel. I don't think I was out very long, but I ended up back in the room, and I do not remember anything after that. So when I woke up the next morning,
no bodies in the bed next to you?
Nobody's in the bed next to me. I did wake up sideways on the bed, which, you know, is not that uncommon for me, but it felt a little off for me.
Sure.
And so I sit up, and I'm looking around, and there had been room service ordered for 2 people. And so I start like looking around, like, is there somebody here? So I go around the corner to like where the bathroom is, and the door's closed. So I'm like knocking on the door. Hey, is somebody in there? Like, nobody. I'm completely alone in this room, and I just have no memory of anything that happened once I got back.
No blood on your hands?
No blood. Like it didn't appear like, you know, anything strange had happened.
Sure, your
other
suitcase
than,
isn't, you know, overflowing with a 150-pound body. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than like there's 2 plates sitting on the coffee table, and
That's
you know,
unnerving by itself.
Yeah, and most of the food had been eaten. So,
yeah, of course.
You know, so now it's Saturday. It's the day of the concert. I was laying there in bed, and I was overwhelmed with this sense of loneliness. And I remember texting my friends, like, this is really kind of getting to me a little bit. Because, you know, I've been lonely in the past, but this was like an extreme loneliness.
Overwhelming.
Yeah. So, and I text my friend, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I just feel so alone. And, sorry. So I'm laying there in bed watching television when I feel this man get on top of me. And he's overpowering me, and then I feel him start to beat in my chest.
Have you been drinking at this point?
No.
Stone cold sober.
Stone cold sober.
Okay. Day 2 in the hotel?
This is yep, day
Okay.
number 2.
Okay.
But I remember just this feeling right here, like somebody was trying to beat out my heart and rip it out. And so I flew out of the bed. I was, you know, just, what was that?
Mortified,
you know?
I'm sure, yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well, you know, the concert starts here in a few hours. Like, let's get this party going.
Yeah.
So I was like, I pull out my phone again, and I'm looking up liquor stores in the area. It tells me there's one a couple blocks over. 924 North 25th Street.
Huh.
So I'm like, hey, let's go check it out, you know?
Sure.
Just a short little walk over.
Absolutely.
Yep. So I remember walking through this neighborhood, like there can't really be a liquor store just, you know, in the middle of all these houses. And so I look over, it's all gated off, nothing's there. And
Can't say it's a park, it's really a lot at this point, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
right.
You know, I was like, that just doesn't really make sense to me.
Right,
But
right.
so I'm like, you know what? There's a bar at the hotel. I'll just go get a beer there. But so I'm walking back to the hotel. There's a liquor store right next to the Ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I missed that, or why Google didn't suggest that to me. But so I was like, hey, I stopped in, grabbed a 6-pack of beer, go back up to my room. There is a group of ladies outside my door, and yeah, I'm like, oh,
hello.
You know, they're all dressed in Marilyn Manson T-shirts, and I was like, hey, are you looking for your friend's room? They say, no, we're checking out Jeffrey Dahmer's room.
And you're like, great, where?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I unlocked the door for him, and I'm like, you're more than welcome to step inside. More than welcome to step inside.
Please step inside.
Yeah. A few of them did, and they looked over at the bathroom too, and they were just like, they were so uncomfortable in there, they didn't stay long.
Yeah.
So it all started to make sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, what had happened. And I had an extra ticket to unload, so I was like online trying to get rid of it, and I had so many people that were like, yeah, I want to go to the show, you're just going to give me this ticket? And I said, yeah, meet me at the Ambassador Hotel. Every time I would say meet me at the Ambassador Hotel, they ghosted out on me.
What could possibly go wrong there? Yeah.
So I think I just gave the ticket to somebody on the street, but so yeah. So once I did my research that night, I'm finding out he had 17 victims. The whole story of what happened at the Ambassador Hotel. I think he claimed he blacked out that night. Just everything made sense to me, The whole like wanting to look younger than I really was, like, oh man, so.
That is a great story of a great experience. So have you had any follow-up stories? I mean, now you're back in Milwaukee here at Shakers, and our history and association with the Dahmer Tour and the Cream City Cannibal, but have you had any thoughts or anything since you've been back here or just in town?
No.
Are you staying at the Ambassador tonight or last night?
Well, I tried to.
Okay.
They're currently not accepting reservations, and then so I tried to take a buddy there to get an old fashioned. Yeah. And it's closed to the public.
Yeah.
So.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. So. That was 4 years ago. So you're back home. You're lovely Iowa, bucolic Iowa, right? Cedar Rapids.
Yep.
So ain't nothing like that going on there.
No.
Right. So
not that we know of.
So we know of. Yeah. The serial killer next door.
Yeah.
Has this accelerated your desire to look into serial killers, or? Yeah, I thought it might. Okay. So tell us about that for a minute.
Well, I've kind of developed a strange fascination with Jeffrey, just because I have felt him. And I have felt what his victim felt that night. So with like my premonition with the bones, I believe. After what happened in that room, he went down to the mall, got a suitcase, probably dismembered him in the bathroom, which is why I was so uncomfortable even looking in that bathroom. But so just crazy. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm pretty fascinated with him, and I've done a lot of research on him since.
Okay. Any other serial killers or just Dahmer?
I've like John Wayne Gacy.
Gacy, of course.
Yeah. Just because he's pretty close to
Midwestern boy.
It's like yeah. But just like Ted Bundy and
Sure.
Richard Ramirez but
the biggies.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So James, I'm not sure you know the entire story with Shakers and our association with Jeffrey Dahmer. So we are a cop bar, and we're also a federal cop bar. And going back to 1991, this place would be inhabited by judges and high-end law enforcement and federal agents and whatnot for lunch, right?
Yeah.
As well as the architectural firms, design firms, whatever else. So big corporate America kind of thing for lunch. We don't do lunch anymore. So starting in January of 1991, this guy would walk in, and we're busy. We're real busy, and we're real corporate. And this guy looks like none of the above, right?
Yeah.
And he would come in, and as you saw yesterday, our staff is almost exclusively female, except for the cooks, including myself. And he would not allow the female bartenders or waitresses to get him a cocktail. He was adamant that they get a man to make his drink. So I'm still cooking back then. They get me to come out of the kitchen, make him his gin and tonic. Gin makes you sin, right? There's no interaction whatsoever, no communication. He's not, I'm Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm a serial killer kind of a thing. Orders a drink, and he just has these eyes like gimlets that just bore into me. I will never forget the look on his face, those eyes just glaring through me, really, right?
Yeah.
Make him his cocktail. I'm back in the kitchen at some point. Sometimes he wanted the second cocktail, and he would sit on this stool. Now, the reason we know it's this stool because both the front and the back bars had this exact same design of stool, but this one has a little spacer underneath the seat that rises at maybe, I don't know, half an inch to maybe an inch, whatever it is. It's just a little bit taller. And it didn't seem to matter how busy we were in the rest of the house. He would find this stool, and he would sit on this stool, drinking his drink and just glaring at people. So as 1991 rather went on, we saw more of him, this odd guy that would come. And you could tell there's just a sensation of something about this guy that was off.
Yeah.
Right? So he was captured in July of 1991. Flurry of activity with the coppers that are here. Towards the end of the night, two customers, longtime customers, come in, and they are as white as your Bevnap right there. And Tom Jacobson and his partner, they had the contract with the city of Milwaukee for hazardous material removal and waste removal, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they never anticipated in the wildest dreams that would include removing body parts, heads, whatever else. So if you remember Time magazine, the pictures, Life magazine, the guy is carrying out the refrigerator, the freezer.
Yeah.
That's
I
them.
do. Yeah. Oh, wow.
So they came here to drink. They drank scotch. They drank a lot of scotch that night. And we kicked them out sometime after close. Early the next morning, one of the federal agents that we've known for years called to ask me to open early. And I'm thinking, what does that mean? 10 o'clock or something, right?
Yeah.
No. How soon can you be here? So I was like, I guess in 15 minutes, So I drive down quickly, and I'm blittery-eyed, and I'm standing behind the bar. And they've got some representatives of the district attorney's office and the Milwaukee police, and there's two local reporters, whatever other prosecutors are here as well. Just a small little group. And they're all queued up here at the bar, and they're handing out mugshots and whatever else. And they wanted to open the story to the local media before the national guys, because they're already going to converge.
Oh, yeah.
Cannibal, serial killer, it's a big story, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, they're showing the picture, and I'm back there, blurry-eyed, and say, stop right there. I recognize this guy, and this is my story. And my personal thought is that he increased the number of visits that he had here at Shakers because he wanted to, he knew it's all judges and whatever else in back, just to be able to thumb his nose and say, I'm the biggest badass in the room and nobody here knows me kind of thing.
Yeah. Hiding in plain sight.
There you go. Mm-hmm. So that was my thought on why he did that. And here we are today. So we do the Cream City Cannibal Tour. It is the world's only Jeffrey Dahmer tour. And it is incredibly busy. And you can find it amongst everything else. It's on the BBC right now in the UK. It's on a Netflix piece that's still airing called Dark Tourist, episode number 3.
Okay.
And it is a fascinating little walk down the same exact streets that the monster Dahmer walked. And we talked about the same locations that he was in. And of course, we identified the victims as well. So one other little interesting side note that we only recently learned, and we had access to the DA's files and all sorts of things for years, unprecedented background, we put the story together, is that one of the people that he had picked up and murdered was actually a member of the East Side Mafiosa, which is a Latin gang who, like to think of themselves being rather badass. So this man actually was there to stick up Dahmer, and it didn't turn out so well for him. So sometimes you think you're the biggest badass in the room, and you're really not, because you just never know who you're talking to, right? So anyway, that's my story. I'm glad you enjoy being in Milwaukee, and some point we should get you back for the actual Cream City Cannibal Tour as well.
I would love
And this has been a real delight having you in, man. And let's go take a little walk.
I saw his experience with tours last night. Both tours.
Oh, you took tours last night.
Yeah, we did a tour around here.
Cool.
Very, very interesting.
With Michaela, or who took you?
I forget his name.
Oh, Alexi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
New young man.
Yeah.
How did that work out?
It was really cool. It was really cool. I got super overwhelmed down in the basement.
Where?
As soon as you walk down there.
Okay.
Yep. I got this dizzying feeling. I became very warm. And then same thing in the women's restroom.
Okay.
My friend in the women's restroom, he was around the corner by the toilets,
right?
And there was a QR code on the wall that he was trying to get a picture of, and I was standing there facing the couch, and the lights above the couch started to flicker.
Come on.
Yeah, and so I look over, and they're both,
away from the light switch.
Yeah, they're like they're trying to figure out whatever's happening with the QR code, but I got super dizzy, and then as soon as they looked over, the lights went back to normal, but yeah. So, and then again down in the basement, that back stairwell really got me.
The staircase to nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one really got me.
So pressure on your chest, anything like that?
Just really dizzy.
Dizzy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it really felt like the entire room was spinning, and I was having problems like standing up straight.
Oh, like vertigo. Cool.
Yeah.
Did you have the sensation that something was trying to grab you from underneath the ground or the concrete?
I did not get that feeling.
Okay.
But
You hear that a lot, but okay.
Yeah. No, that didn't happen to me. But
Now, we've had several people that have fainted downstairs to the degree that they had to be taken up by the paramedics, strapped into a gurney.
wow.
But they would fall over so incredibly slowly. So you're down there with, generally on a weekend, you've got 13 or 15 people on a tour, and they were able to have the people that were by them that would just kind of, slowly decline them.
Oh, wow.
But they couldn't then move their legs or something. They couldn't get back up. That's why we had to, call a paramedic. So it's interesting how that impacts some people sometimes.
Yeah.
Anything upstairs? The dead hooker's bedroom?
Upstairs, yeah. Lots of moments that just gave me the chills. Especially the bathroom on the very top floor.
Okay.
And then the bedroom near the fireplace too. I just got, he had already told us what had happened.
Sure.
Before we entered the room, so I already kind of knew, but.
Sure.
But yeah, it just.
Well, that same association with the fireplace that was used after they had chopped up the young lady's body, then they charged some of those as well there. Huh.
Yeah.
Did you get any sensations in the bathroom itself or out back on the patio, on the deck?
I didn't go out on the patio.
Okay.
But that's where I hear that you guys found.
Right, that's where I found the bones,
found
right.
The bones, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So when you coming back?
July.
July.
Yeah. Sometime in July.
Well, I think he was caught on the 21st of July, wasn't he? And
I believe so.
yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Maybe I can book that room.
Sure.
Again.
Anniversary. Why not? Excellent.
Yeah.
Or the penthouse. You know what? If you want to, if we're not already booked, we will put you up in our penthouse if you can't get in the Ambassador. How's that?
Okay.
On us.
That sounds amazing.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up this portion of this. And again, for those of you at home, thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying this. And any questions, just send me an email, shakersmilwaukee@gmail.com. And at all points, I mean, a lot of lessons here. Don't accept drinks from strangers. Don't go home to have someone take your pictures for $50. And I don't know, all sorts of other myriad things. But be good to yourselves, and every day is precious, and enjoy it the best you can. Folks, thank you very much. Cheers.